Ghostly tales, yet mirrors of human life. Hey everyone! Welcome to Encountering Chinese, Ghostly Tales from Zhai. Today, I'm going to tell you two short stories. The first story is titled Vocal Mimicry. In our village, there once came a woman who appeared to be around 24 or 25 years old. She always carried a medicine pouch with her and would treat people in the village while also selling her herbs. However, when someone came to seek treatment, she never prescribed any medicine. Instead, she would tell them that she needed to summon the gods to help her craft a prescription in the evening. Then, at night, the woman would tidy up a clean little house and lock herself inside, claiming to await the arrival of the gods. Out of curiosity, villagers would gather outside the small house or lie by its windows, quietly listening to whatever happened inside. They dared not cough or speak loudly, each whispering quietly among themselves. As midnight approached, suddenly, the people heard the sound of curtains being drawn inside the house. The woman began speaking, saying, "Ah, has Jogu arrived?" Another woman's voice replied, "I'm here." The woman asked again, "Why is Lame also here with Jogu?" At this point, a voice that sounded like a servant girl answered, "I'm here too." Then, the three of them started chatting incessantly. After a while, they heard the sound of the door curtain being lifted again, and the woman said, "Liu Gu has arrived." Someone inside interjected. Chunmei also came with her little baby. Immediately after, another woman's voice said, "My son, he just wouldn't sleep unless he's with his old mother. He's already a hefty 180 pounds, so heavy to carry." Following this, they heard the woman's hospitable greetings, Jogu's questioning, Liu Gu's pleasantries, the chattering of the two servant girls, and the laughter of a child, creating a bustling and noisy scene. After a while, they heard the woman laughing and saying, "This little son is so amusing, he even brought a cat from afar." Gradually, the voices became sparse. Then, the curtain rustled again, and the whole room became noisy. Someone said, "Sigu, why did you come so late?" A small voice replied softly, "I had to walk over 1,000 miles, so I arrived late. Besides, I came with Aunt, who walks slower." Then, several people began to inquire about each other's well-being, and sounds of moving seats and fetching chairs emerged intermittently, making the small house lively again. It wasn't until after a meal that the room quieted down once more. At this point, the villagers outside the house heard the woman asking about the medicine needed for treatment. Jogu thought ginseng should be used, Liu Gu suggested astragalus, and Sigu advocated for white atractaloids. After some deliberation, they heard Jogu calling for someone to bring writing materials. Soon after, they heard the sound of paper folding, the clinking of pen caps being removed, and the grinding of ink. Later, they heard the table shaking as the pen was used, and finally, the rustling of packaging the medicine. After a while, the woman opened the curtain and walked out, calling for the patients to come and collect their prescriptions and medicine. She then turned back into the house, and they heard the farewells of the three women, the servants, the muted laughter of children, and the meowing of a cat, all mingled together. Jiugu's voice was clear and melodious, Liu Gu's voice slow and aged, Sigu's voice sweet and melodious, and with the voices of the three servants, each distinctive, they could tell who was speaking. The villagers were amazed to hear this and thought they had truly encountered immortals. However, when they took the medicine provided by the woman, they found it had no special effect. It wasn't until later that people realized it was all a form of vocal trickery. The woman had merely used her vocal mimicry to promote her medicine. Nonetheless, it must be said that her vocal mimicry indeed reached a miraculous level. This reminds me of something Wang Sini once told me. While he was passing by a market in the capital city, he heard the sound of someone playing musical instruments and singing. A crowd of people had gathered tightly around the stall, forming a wall. As he approached, he only saw a young man singing melodiously, keeping time by tapping his cheek with his fingers. There were no instruments around. He simply used his fingers to create a resonant sound, akin to the accompaniment of stringed instruments. It's also a form of vocal mimicry, isn't it? The second story is titled Brave Mouse. Yang Tianyi once told me a story like this. Once, he saw two mice emerge from a hole, but unfortunately, as soon as one of the mice came out, it was swallowed by a snake. The other mouse, upon witnessing this, widened its eyes like round peppercorns, appearing extremely resentful, but knowing it couldn't contend with the snake, it could only watch from afar, not daring to approach. At this moment, the snake seemed satiated and slithered into the hole. Just as the snake was halfway inside the hole, the remaining mouse quickly dashed forward and firmly bit the snake's tail. The snake, angered by the mouse's action, retreated and crawled out of the hole. The mouse, being agile, immediately fled upon seeing the snake emerge. Since the snake had just consumed a mouse and its body was heavy, it couldn't catch up and had to return to its original position. Just as it was about to enter the hole again, the mouse returned and once again bit the snake's tail. The cycle continued. Whenever the snake entered the hole, the mouse would bite its tail. Whenever the snake emerged, the mouse would flee. This confrontation lasted for a long time. Finally, the snake had no choice but to crawl out of the hole, regurgitating the dead mouse it had swallowed onto the ground. The other mouse approached, sniffed the dead mouse for a while, then chirped mournfully, as if mourning a friend. Subsequently, it carried away its deceased companion. My friend Zhang Liao was deeply moved by this story and even wrote a poem in honor of the brave mouse that fought the snake. Alright. That's all for today's ghostly tales. Vocal mimicry and brave mouse. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please also encourage everyone to comment and share more. We'll see you in the next episode.